Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
He walked into danger and paid the ultimate price.
Tonight, the whole city mourns one of our heroes.
We're learning more about the Detroit police officer killed in the line of duty last night and the chaotic moments that followed the hail of gunfire.
That's one of two big stories here at 6. The other, Fiat Chrysler's dramatic response to a lawsuit by General Motors. Tonight, they are calling it an astonishing ploy.
But first, a Detroit man known for his boats is accused of being a sexual predator targeting children. Federal investigators are painting a chilling picture of a predator who operated over several years.
Wade Streeter, known to some as the owner of the Open Lake Group, a tugboat service operating all over the Great Lakes. Well, now he's accused of luring boys to his home, drugging them, and molesting them, sometimes taking pictures and video.
Victor Williams following this story for us tonight. Victor, his alleged victims may number more than a dozen.
Well, this 10-page complaint filed by the FBI on Monday was just unsealed today and makes several allegations that the man who lived in this home on St. Paul was apparently molesting children all the way back in 2003. Wade Preston Streeter is now under fire due to allegations made that he molested or attempted to molest at least 7 young boys throughout the Detroit area.
I'm shocked.
Louis Buchanan was downright shocked when we told him the news. Although he's known Streeter for years, he says he never imagined his neighbor being capable of such a thing.
Because he never gave me that impression.
Streeter is the owner of a tugboat company in town and even worked at one point for the J.W. Westcott Detroit River Station. The complaint filed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation states that between 2003 and July of 2019, the boat company owner would bring back boys to his home, giving them alcohol and pills before sexual acts took place. One victim even grew up to be an addict. Facebook messages between the two show Streeter allegedly apologizing, begging for the minor not to tell. Agents eventually seized electronics from Streeter's home, where they found dozens and dozens of child porn images.
But I know he never was unusual. You know, if he was, I never saw it.
And back here live tonight, there were several other allegations made on that complaint that we can't even tell you about on TV. However, we are told that some of those took place allegedly on this man's tugboat. For now, we are reporting live downtown. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Just awful. All right, Victor.
Well, now to the breaking developments in the deadly shooting of a Detroit police officer and wounding of another.
Today, Police Chief James Craig released the names of those officers. The one who didn't survive is Rasheem McClain, a 16-year veteran of the force. He and his partner, Philip Batumbise, were ambushed while responding to a home invasion. Batumbise was hit in the leg. It's expected he's going to recover.
Chief Craig and Mayor Duggan took time today to praise their bravery.
One thing that stood out for me relative to Officer McClain, he was a leader, very tactical, very much about doing a great job.
It's a reminder to us of what our officers are facing, particularly in these domestic violence situations where emotions run so high and violence shows up suddenly and unpredictably.
At the same time, we're getting new perspective on the chaos that followed the gunfire as other police tried to capture the shooter. Sean Lay is live with that part of the story. Sean, good evening.
Good evening, Kimberly. To you, any Detroit police officer or police officer anywhere will say a domestic violence call is one of the most dangerous things they can respond to. Here we had a 28-year-old who had just gotten out of prison doing 8 years for assault. Police believe he would do anything not to go back to prison. He ran out of this house. We're going to show you every step of the way how police quickly tracked him down.
As soon as I sat down, the world exploded.
Neighbors in shock over Detroit police coming under fire Wednesday night.
I got on the floor.
Said the police got shot. I was like, damn, my blessings to him and his family.
Tonight, Chief James Craig is honoring 16-year Detroit police veteran Rasheem McClain, who was shot and killed leading 3 fellow officers into this home to find a man armed with this gun waiting in the basement. Chief Craig believes the man with the gun had some sort of tactical training.
We're very much into the investigation. We have learned that he did get some training. He was not in the military. but I don't want to go into details of that.
Officer McLean was a husband and father of two. His partner last night, Officer Felipe Batum-Bisi, was hit in the leg. The gunman running outside where a gun battle with officers erupted. Let me walk you through what happened next. If you look across the backyard, you'll see a silver Cadillac and a red brick home. That's the home where the shooting took place. Police got here. They started following a trail of blood. It led to this driveway a few doors down, right through here. Police were motivated to get this guy. They came rolling right into this home.
He probably climbed the fence, I guess.
This neighbor says officers were right on that suspected gunman's trail. But that gunman wasn't in that home. Follow me this way. He almost trapped himself back here in the backyard with this fence, but he was able to get through and run that way. The police were able to catch him on the next street over relatively quickly. It's unclear tonight if police actually went into this home to search, but that gunman was caught just 1 block away, and he too was rushed to the hospital.
It's a reminder to us of what our officers are facing, particularly in these domestic violence situations where emotions run so high and violence shows up suddenly.
Officer McLean's partner shot in the leg, still recovering in the hospital tonight. The suspect, 28 years old, we're not naming him, hasn't been charged yet. He was hit in the arm by a shotgun blast from an officer that was standing out here as he was trying to run towards them with that gun. Still in the hospital tonight again, hasn't been charged yet. Back to you.
And certainly our thoughts are with Officer McLean's family through all of this. I'm sure they're still trying to process what happened. Sean, do we know how they're doing tonight? Have you heard anything about his family?
Chief Craig said Officer McLean's wife is named Heidi. They met with her. Very, very tough time, as anyone can imagine. And tonight she has placed on her Facebook page a thin blue line symbol.
Oh, yeah, and I understand they had children as well. All right, Sean, thanks.
United Auto Workers today laying out the corruption allegations against its former president, Gary Jones, in their recently released Article 30 charges. A 9-page document going into great detail of wrongdoing done by Jones and fellow UAW official Vance Pearson. The UAW alleges that Jones falsified nearly $500,000 worth of expenses to the union's accounting department. In addition to the misleading expenses, Jones allowed his daughter to stay at a UAW-paid villa originally meant for him and his wife. For the full report, you can visit clickondetroit.com. But at the same time, General Motors' racketeering lawsuit against Fiat Chrysler reverberating throughout the auto industry. And this unusual claim comes at a time when the United Auto Workers and Fiat Chrysler are still looking to hammer out the last of these national contracts. Business editor Rob Maloney live tonight in Detroit with a look at the suit, what it means, and how it will impact the late Sergio Marchionne's legacy, Rod.
Well, Devin, there's a lot to unpack here, but we're in Detroit at the Conner Avenue engine plant because this is where those national contract talks are going on between the between FCA and the UAW. And so we wanted to be here to sort of let this be ground zero for all of the things that have gone on today. And here's the thing, GM's audacious decision to sue Fiat Chrysler has made a huge impact in the industry even a day later. The day after GM dropped its legal bomb on FCA, the reaction's consistent.
I have never seen anything like this.
It's breathtaking because we've never seen anything like this before.
FCA belittled GM's suit yesterday, but felt compelled today to repeat its disgust. Quote, FCA believes General Motors' claims are nothing more than a meritless attempt to divert attention from that company's own challenges. This astonishing ploy comes at a time when FCA is proving itself to be an ever more formidable competitor. FCA is confident that it will prevail in defending itself against these claims in court and will also pursue all available remedies in response to this groundless lawsuit, end quote. Former federal prosecutor Keith Corbett says GM's case won't be easy because it can't just be bribery between a few selfish people.
If you can tie approval of the CEO to the activities in question, it's going to go a long way towards making General Motors' case much better.
This case comes at a major inflection point for the industry. Electric and autonomous cars mean vast change, and auto trader analyst Michelle Krebs says questions about any company's survival means a more dog-eat-dog environment.
Automakers, they've always been competitive, but they've kind of protected the industry. They're really going at each other.
Krebs also believes this case casts a dark shadow over the late Sergio Marchionne's legacy. And so the question is, which is it? Is Sergio Marchionne the avenging angel who came in and made Chrysler, took it out of the ashes and turned it into a profitable company that saved thousands of jobs? Or is he the scheming Machiavellian type executive looking to force GM into a merger using bribery? Well, Krebs, when I asked her that question, said she thought, well, it's entirely possible. It could be both, but it's going to take years for this suit to be decided. Reporting live in Detroit, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Hey, Rod. Now to a Local 4 update. That's good news for drivers in Grosse Ile. The Free Bridge is now back open after a week-long closure that caused big backups to get on and off the island. More repair work is needed, but that will happen next year in phases. A judge drops charges against a Hamtramck school worker accused of sexually assaulting a student. Judge Alexis Krott dropped the first-degree criminal sexual conduct charges against Ibrahim Al-Jahim. In September, an Oakland International Academy student accused Al-Jahim of sex assault in September. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office says it will review court transcripts and possibly appeal the judge's decision.
Newly released data from an online survey of students, faculty, and staff at Michigan State, providing more insight into the school's climate in the wake of the recent sexual abuse scandals.
More than 15,000 people responded to the online survey. 13% of undergraduate women on the campus has experienced some form of assault in the 2018-2019 academic school year, compared to 3% of men. More than half of faculty and staff, regardless of gender, also experiencing some form of workplace incivility. Officials who conducted the survey plan to meet with students and staff to discuss the results. All right, time now for a check of the national stories you'll see ahead at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News.
Let's head to New York. Lester Holt standing by with a preview. Lester.
Hey, Kim and Devin, coming up, outrage and fear on another college campus after several racist incidents. Tonight, the university's chancellor taking action. Plus, the mystery outbreak that has more than 20,000 students out of school, an entire district, in fact, shut down to keep a very contagious virus contained.
Which suggests a pretty serious illness, Lester.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. It's a type of stomach bug, and it spreads so easily that the schools and school buses are being decontaminated. Tonight, the one thing you and your family can do to keep this virus away when we see you on Nightly News.
Okay, that coming up in about 19 minutes. We look forward to those stories and more. Lester, thanks. Still ahead, a new type of damage from vaping and what it has to do with microwave popcorn.
How about that?
Yeah. Here's Ben.
Kim and Devin, has not been pretty, but this is our warmest day of the week, and it may end up being the warmest day of the month. We'll look at where we go from here next.
Clinton Township police are saying thank you to this drone and its technology that helped to keep them safe during an hours-long, dangerous, nearly impossible rescue last night.
Helping at-risk young adults get back on their feet, providing free food, shelter, education assistance.
And learning that there are people that care about them.
Tomorrow at 6 a.m.